Hi, and welcome to Crafts to Favors. Today, we're going to spotlight the Cuttlebug machine. This is such a fun embossing and cutting machine that you will certainly enjoy it. If you do not have one, check into it. They're a great piece to add to your scrapbooking and card making collection. Now, we're coming to you from craftstofavor.com. Check us out on our website, and we can have all of your craft needs, from your Cuttlebug supplies, your Cricut supplies, and we're adding more all the time. So watch for as we add new providers. You're going to just love what we have on our website. So check us out. Check out all of our tutorials as well on YouTube. So with that, I'm going to cover the Cuttlebug, and we're going to do a little card today as well to show you how simple it is to use your Cuttlebug machine. So today I have the Cuttlebug machine. I have some pre-cut paper I am using for my card. I've cut out a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of paper, and then I also have a 3.5 by 4 3/4 piece that I'm going to use as another layering effect, as well as another piece that we're going to do as a 2 by 2 1/4 piece. And both these pieces we are going to use with the Cuttlebug, and we're going to emboss them. I've also got some bling here, some stick-on rhinestones that we're going to use for the card as well. As you'll see, they'll go great with this little princess crown. I've got some pink and stamp ink as well, because we're going to use a little distressing around the edges to make the emboss stand out on one of the pieces. I have some tape, adhesive tape as well. You can use whatever kind. This one is just from the dollar store. It's really simple. I don't need anything hardcore because it's just a card. I'm not trying to get a box to stay together or anything like that. We're also going to use some ribbon for our card. I have got some scissors as well to use on the ribbon. And then with the Cuttlebug machine, you're going to also need your spacing plate, which is plate A, as well as 2 of your cutting pads. And so you have 2 Bs. We have those as well. I also have a Cricut trimming board. Now this trimming board is great because you can trim with it, or you can score with the blade. The blade I have in today, the black one, is a scoring blade, and it's fabulous because you don't have to have a bone folder to do it. You just score your line for your card that we're going to do today. It automatically creates that nice crisp line. We fold the card and it's taken care of. Or you can use it as a cutter as well. The blades just pop in and out. It's as simple as this, and then they just set right back in, and you've got your scoring blade or your cutting blade. When I'm storing this, I just keep both blades attached in there. That way I don't lose one, and then whatever one I'm getting ready to use, I just take the other one out, set it aside until I'm done, and use the one that I need. The other thing I have here is my Cuttlebug embossing folder storage binder. This is great to hold all of your embossing folders. I love it. They're all in one neat place. I can quickly flip through the pages to find what I'm looking for. You can take it on the road. It's got handles. It's fabulous. As you can see within here, I have all of my pieces, all my embossing folders, my small ones, my large ones, and we're going to get started today with the Divine's swirls, as well as the princess one. So I've got those, and we're going to get ready to make some cuts. Or make some embossing. Sorry, we're not cutting today. So with that, we'll set up and get ready to go. Okay, we're ready to put together our card now. So with that, I've got the piece of paper that I've cut out for our card, and I'm going to grab the trimmer / scoring board to be able to score the card so we can fold it in half nice and neatly. Now, as I mentioned previously, this does come with a cutting blade, but I do have the scoring blade in so that we can score this rather than cut it. And I know I need to score this at 4 1/4 inches because this is an 8.5 inch piece. So I'm just going to line it up here, and I believe right about there. And I'm just going to run the blade right along it and pull it out. Now, if you can see here, it's got a nice cut. It's not actually a cut, just the score line down the middle of the card, so that when I go to fold it, it creates a nice clean fold for our card. And there we go. So our card was as simple as that. Sometimes I use pre-made cards, sometimes I make my own out of my paper that I have. Just depends on what I'm trying to accomplish. So I'm going to set the scoring blade away. I'm going to set our card aside, And I'm going to pull out our Cuttlebug. Now, if you've never used a Cuttlebug before, it has a fabulous handle that you can pull up when you're not using it to transport it, put it back on a shelf, or so forth. But we're going to pop out the two sides so that it's ready to use. I'm also going to grab our spacing mat, which is mat A, and our two cutting mats, the 2Bs. And with that, I'm going to actually just move our Cuttlebug back just a little. And first thing we're going to start with is this piece of cardstock that I've already cut out, and we're going to use the Divine Swirl embossing folder and emboss that swirl design onto this cardstock. So I'm going to just pop it in here. Now, to know which way you want this, because this cardstock kind of has a shiny finish on it on this side, and it's more of it's real plain on this side. I want the shiny finish side. So, and I know I want these swirls to pop out onto that shiny image. Well, if I feel this, I can feel that the swirls are popping up. So I want to make sure that my bottom side is against that up so that it pops up through the shiny side. And I'm just going to line it here at the top of the design so that we have a nice straight image. Even though it's swirly that way, the edges are straight. And close that on top. There we go. It's within there. Now you have the A spacing mat down. I also put the B one on top of it, and now I place my embossing folder with my paper inside of it on top of that, and then I take my second B plate and place it on top of that. That way it holds it into place and it provides that nice even finish when we run it through the Cuttlebug. So I'm going to pick those three plates up, and then also the embossing folder in there. Place it into the Cuttlebug until it kind of starts to move in. You see the handle start to move, and then just run it along. And run it through there. And I actually have the handle on the other side. You can run it either way if you're left-handed or right-handed, but it's a little easier from the direction I'm sitting in here. So I pulled it off the back side, pulling off my B plate, and I'm going to open up my piece that I just embossed, and there it is. Isn't that gorgeous? The Divine Swirl embossing folder that I just used is one of our most popular embossing folders. This thing is so versatile. Set this aside now, and we're going to want to do the pink square that I did. That it was a 2 1/4 inch by 2 inches, and I'm also going to use our Princess for a Day card. And here it is, and we're going to stick it the pink cardstock within here. But I'm going to place it in here, and I'm going to line it up because I'm not going to make any additional trims to this. I want to make sure that we do have it nice and straight and in here and aligned. So there we go. I've got it in there. I've closed the embossing folder. And again, we're going to start with the A spacing mat, then the B mat. I'm going to lay down our embossing folder, and then I'm going to lay the other B plate B cutting mat, I guess, on top of that, and we're going to load it into the Cuttlebug again. Pop out our piece of cardstock, and there we go. We've got the crown for a day, which I call it the Princess for a Day embossing. Now with that, I'm going to set all of these things aside, and I wanted to take this piece and be able to embellish it a little bit with some distressing. So I'm going to take a pink staff and run it over to make it pop out a little bit and run it around the edges. And so I've got a pink stamp here that we're just going to use. It's one I think I probably picked up at Michael's at some point in time. You can use what you decide to use, but I'm just going to run it across that embossing. I'm going to actually set this down here and run it across. I think that's ready. So I also want to embellish it with some clear rhinestones right on the tops of the 3 crown points. Okay, there we go. I have embellished now the crown for a day with the 3 rhinestones. I think it gives it that little bit more punch to add to our card. So I'm going to close up our Cuttlebug. Again, you just fold up the sides and lift up the handle and move it out of our way. And I'm going to bring back the card. Now, I want to do some layering effects. And we are going to go kind of like this, and then I'm going to add the ribbon around the bottom. And I think I'm going to put a dimensional underneath just to have a little bit, have the crown for a day pop up. And there we go. We've got a card that we've used with our Cuttlebug. We've used the embossing folder of the crown for a day, as well as the Divine Swirls as the background piece for that. And we made our own card out of cardstock as well, and just added a little embellishment ribbon and the rhinestones. So with that, that's one little project that you can do with your Cuttlebug machine. For all of your needs, remember to check out crafts2favor.com for all of your Cuttlebug and Provo Craft needs.